Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another channeled message. This is a specific message. It might resonate with you. It might not. All right. So I heard a channel for this one. I thought you were my friend. And then I heard, I am your friend. We weren't close enough at that time, or we weren't the kind of friends where I could tell you that. And it seems like that is something to do with a third party situation that your husband, boyfriend, lover, your person was having behind your back. And it seems like this friend knew about it, or they suspected, because not all of these friends knew, but they might have seen something and they had a strong suspicion. And you feel like this friend should have said something. I'm hearing the word betrayal. You feel like it's a betrayal that this friend didn't say something. Okay, so the first thing that I'm getting is that I think whatever this friend knew, a lot of you assume that this friend knew more than they knew. And because it feels like whatever this was, it was like a small thing, but they did know about it. And it put them in some type of conflicted space. And I feel like this friend is genuinely a friend. This person has good energy, and this person did not cheat. If some of you are wondering about that, if this person was the third party, this person I'm picking up on was not the third party. Now, that might be confusing for some of you, because for some of you, the way that they knew about this was that your partner made a pass at them. But this person didn't ask for it. They shut it down in some way. They ignored it. They outright said no. They closed themselves off. This person did nothing wrong. This person is maybe a victim in this. This person's very innocent in regards of this. And I'm saying that because I've been picking up on this a lot in the readings lately, but there seems to be this kind of friend group involved. And this friend group feels kind of karmic to me. It feels like there's a lot of karmas to be worked out here in this friend group because of the boundaries. I think a lot of this could be solved with healthy, clear boundaries. And there's either not clear boundaries or they're not where they should be. And so some people I think get confused and they step over the boundaries, and other people, it's it creates hurt, for people. Some people, yeah, they get hurt in this situation, but it feels like the seedy underbelly. So on the surface of this friend group, everything looks fine. Everything looks happening. Everything looks, friendly. It's just, there's this kind of scorpionic belly to this friend group. And so there's people involved and tangled up karmically, and some of those people may also, be your friends, or you thought that they were your friends. Some of those people may have known more about this affair, maybe actually did, intentionally cover it up because they have no loyalty to you. And some of those friends may have actually been a third party, or the third parties to your husband, and they were actually cheating, or your boyfriend, or whoever this was. That's not this friend, not the one that I'm picking up on. Those people have their own karmas to work out, and you can probably guess what their karmas are. Yeah, that's what they're working through. This friend, not really so much, because I feel this friend's loyalty is to you, and you felt that too. And also their loyalty is to truth and goodness. And again, you felt that too. And I think, well, maybe not for all of them. It's one or both, right? They're either really loyal to you, because some of them, the reason they're involved with this friend group is because they can kind of get down and dirty too, but it's they're loyal to you. They know that you don't deserve this and that you're not really like this friend group. But for others of these people, I feel like they're a really, really good person, and they're committed to truth and goodness. But this friend is kind of on your side of things. But I feel in this lifetime, because it seems to me the two of you are soulmates. This feels like platonic soulmates, friend soulmates. And you recognize that in this person kind of right away, because I feel like you've been friends in a lot of lifetimes. You know this person is loyal. You know that they're rock solid. And in this lifetime, though, it seems like maybe this was a budding friendship, and then things ended because shit kind of hit the fan. Or whenever they saw what they saw, or what happened, where they became aware that your partner was doing something shady, I feel like you guys weren't very close at that time. And it put this person in a kind of situation that then they kind of responded to. And not all of them responded consciously. For some, there's unconscious or subconscious elements to this. And that's what this friend is saying is I know I don't have a right to, but please try to put yourself in my shoes. That's what they want to ask. There's a lot of gentleness coming from this friend. They're not gaslighting you in any way, because this friend actually feels like they don't really carry too much guilt in this situation. They wish that they would have told you. They think this is a terrible situation. They side with you 100%. They wish they could be there for you. And this is also the kind of person, they've got a bit of a fiery temper is what I heard. And it's reminding me of like in Ted Lasso, there's this character, Sassy. I love her. She's the best friend to Rebecca, and Rebecca's ex-husband is a right bastard. And at one point, Sassy leans in to Rupert, Rebecca's ex-husband, and only the two of them can hear. And she goes, "I'm going to wear red to your funeral, and I will be a beacon of joy to the other 3 people there." And I feel like this person has that kind of attitude. And that's the way that they would be towards like your husband or your partner if they weren't your husband or your partner for what they did to you, but also for driving a wedge between the two of you. This person feels like this guy, his presence, something that he did that was shady and underhand, just in his sphere, it was all under his control for him to be that way. That's what drove the wedge between you. And it put this person in some type of awkward situation. And for some of you, this guy that you're with, I'm sorry if this is triggering. It feels more conscious in some of them, but it also feels like maybe it's on a soul level for others, where it's like, that's what he does. He puts people, especially maybe like your female friendships, and this might happen like around you. You might have a lonely life, being with this guy, because there's always this wedge, between you and your close female friends or people who could be that way. Anybody who would tell you the truth, any kind of one-to-one close dynamic that you could have is maybe a threat here. And he'll find a way to kind of do that, drive a wedge, put somebody in an impossible position. I feel like this friend is kind of not shying away from it, because I feel like they would have told you. And they could have told you, and maybe they were working their way up to telling you. For others, it was like a small thing. It happened when you guys didn't know each other very well. And some of you did get to know this person and you guys became close friends. But that was something of the past. They only saw like one thing. They weren't exactly sure. And they feel like if they tell you now, they're going to say, then you're going to be mad at them and say, well, why didn't you tell me? And the answer to that is, well, I didn't know you very well. I didn't know how you were going to respond. Because the other thing that I've learned in life, which I don't understand, is a lot of people actually don't want to know, like when their partners are cheating on them, because they don't really care if they're really happy or if they just have the experience of being happy, but it's like all a lie. So long as they feel like they're happy, that's what they want. And they'll actually get mad at the person who tells them the truth rather than their partner. They feel like that person took away their happiness or took away the dream. And so for some of you, this person didn't know if that's the kind of reaction that you would have. But I think for some, again, it feels like a strong soulmate connection, unfortunately, between like you and this person that you were with, which is probably like a mind fuck and a heart fuck, like for you to deal with, because there's love here. By the way, this friend can see that. This friend knows. And I'm saying that too, because I feel like there's an element of public humiliation for some of you. And that's why there's this betrayal. I feel like this is important for some of you too, because I think some of you are like, if you had just told me, then I wouldn't have been like publicly humiliated, because, and you feel, I don't know if something happened where something played out in public, or if you just feel that way because you felt like the last one to know. You felt like everybody knew and saw you be in love with your partner, love them so much. There's nothing that you wouldn't do for this person. You would never hurt them. I just heard that nobody could pay you to hurt this person, but then he was sneaking around behind your back and obviously didn't love you as much. And I don't think that's true. I think that's the way it feels for you. Well, I mean, not everybody's love is of the same caliber. Let me just put it that way. I think he loves you. I just think that his love is more like a curse than say your love would be, because of who he is as a person. And I think that's something that you learned actually here, is that you learned that love is not the thing that keeps you safe. It's being principled. It's something else. And I think it has to do with like who a person is, like their own inner fortitude. Are they a person of principles? Do they have empathy to where they would feel bad if like you got hurt? And like, you see what I'm saying? It's other kinds of things. And I think that you felt that, but I bring it up because I think for some of you, there's a bit of like transference of your feelings for your partner, because it feels like with this friend, this was the person where you could say exactly the thing that you wanted to say to him. I thought you were my friend. Because even though this guy is your husband or your boyfriend or your partner, or, there's that element of romance and love, there, romantic love, you felt like friends. You felt like, I thought you were my friend. I thought you were my lover, my playmate, my partner. I thought we built together. And I think that's something that this friend can see too. You guys have that kind of connection of like, it's soulmates. It's giving soulmates. It's just that your soulmate is kind of busted. And this friend also wants to tell you it's not you, it's them and it's not you, because this person sees you as the Queen of Wands, like your friend. They see you as being very attractive, very charismatic, very fun to be around, a lot of energy with you. And it's not you. You didn't get cheated on or treated that way because you're not enough. There's a problem with that guy. And this friend didn't know how to say it. They didn't know how to kind of like bring this up, and they didn't know if you were going to hate them. And for some of you, it's because maybe for some of them, they saw him cheat with somebody else. They know that. And maybe whoever that, I don't know. I think if it was that scenario, maybe you guys didn't know each other very well. And then things came out and stuff blew up before you guys got close, or you got close and then it felt awkward for them because they were like, I don't know if I should tell them. There was another situation I was just picking up on, but, the other is just unconsciously, this person didn't want to get close to you because of him. For some of you, there's an unconscious, either because they feel weird around him. I just heard he's a creep, or he gives me the willies, or they don't want to be around him because of the moral conundrum that it puts them in regards of you. Because if they're on the periphery of it, it's like, that's not really my business. Other people's business is not really my business, and I wasn't exactly sure anyways what was going on. Maybe for all I know, they have an open relationship. Well, if they get to know you and they know that you guys are in a committed, traditional relationship, now all of a sudden that it turns the heat up on that moral conundrum. And it's not, like I said, that this friend was necessarily doing that consciously or thinking that consciously. It's just with their emotions and stuff, they felt awkward or they felt weird. For some of you, it's just that they felt awkward around him and he's around you, and it's like a package deal, So they just didn't get too close to you because like he was kind of there. But this friend feels like they love you. And they understand that you're mad, and they would be mad too, and they would feel hurt. And this person is definitely somebody that could hear you say that, I just want to point out though, for those of you, if your partner made a pass at this person didn't cheat. They turned it down in some way. They ignored it, or they rebuffed it, in some way. They didn't give it any attention. Like they didn't go in for it. And so, this person feels like they're a safe person to you, like in this situation, maybe they knew this, the third party, if there's like one, because for some of you, I think it's a bit of a habit that this partner of yours had, like there's maybe multiple people and maybe they're friends with like one of these people or something. I also think that this friend doesn't know as much as you think that they know. They didn't know at the time as much as you think that they knew, but they did know something and they did have a strong suspicion. Yeah. The other thing here is that it feels to me that this friend was like karmically somehow bound up with this friend group. There does seem to be a friend group here. This comes through in the readings where it feels like a karmic friend group where everything on the surface looks like very friendly and stuff, but there's a lot of karmas to be worked out here. And I think it's because of boundaries. Like there's no boundaries here in this friend group, or they're not where they should be. And so it causes a lot of confusion, and it causes a lot of like scorpionic karma of secrets, hidden affairs, trauma, lies, confidences, like hidden confidences between people. And it feels like somehow this friend that you're asking about is more bound up with that group karmically. That doesn't mean that they're that way. I just think that somehow their karmas and their lifetimes have like overlapped with this group. And that seems to be the group that your partner also has like karmas in this particular group. It could be a big group too, because it doesn't feel particularly like direct, like between the two of them. It's like the same kind of, group. And you're not as bound with that group. I don't think you have like a binding to that group. I think your connection to that group is through that guy. And it seems like if you go on the path with him, if you choose to, which I don't think you are actually, I think, at least not now, because I think maybe for some of you, you want to say to this friend that you've moved on from him, and that you are, maybe I just heard I'm in a healthier relationship now, and I'm loved and I'm cherished and I'm supported and I'm healing, and maybe for some of you, hindsight is 2020 because I think that you were confused, or this guy was like really a liar, had you all kind of twisted up for some of you. And so you're wanting to say this to this friend, but So yeah, I think that you have made a choice to separate out from him. And in separating out from him, you're separating out from this group, and you're separating out, I think, from this friend. And they love you and they support you in that decision, you know? Because it seems like if you had, I think you're making the right move here. So what I'm getting is that you've decided to move on from him because you've realized that love is not enough and he needs to be a person of virtue and a person, because I think you also learned something about love where I've heard that love is elasticity. I've heard people say that the more elastic you give somebody, the more you love them. You know, they mess up, but you still love them. And I feel like you gave this person a lot of room, a lot of elasticity because you love them. But love is also discipline. And that's what you found out about him. Love is also, I will restrict my behavior because I love you so much. I will never see you cry, and I damn for sure am not going to be the cause of it because I love you, period. On period. Sorry if you can hear that. Maybe somebody drives motorbikes or something. So yeah, you have realized that, and you're saying, it's not a no forever, but like your soul's like, I'm moving on. I'm taking a different path. And if this guy is your soulmate and loves you, which he does, but now he's got a choice of, he's got to become the guy who can love you, or you're not going to be with him. And you finally like found that place within you. You're moving on from it. It's up to him. The ball is in his court. He needs to go through the tumble dryer of life and bump up against the karmas that he needs to understand that he can't treat people like this way, you know, that he doesn't want to treat people this way, that he doesn't want to be this person anymore because it's crap. But you can't make him think that way. It is that way. He'll come to it in his own terms, but you might be long gone by then, you know? And that's the point where you are at. And it seems like this friend was going to be your friend, like a close friend, if you didn't have the strength to do that, and you were kind of like more wrapped up, then karmically you got more and more wrapped up with this particular group. I don't know. But this person wants you to get your justice is what I'm getting. It's not that you guys can't be friends. Oh yeah, you definitely can. The Empress just came out. This friend, they feel like maybe you watched them leave because you were stuck in this situation and then you were torn. And oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about this. Sometimes the kids in my neighborhood like soup up their little bikes or whatever, and then they like ride them around. I think somebody's doing that. But yeah, so, and you saw them, like you were watching them walk away because maybe this was like an unhealthy situation and they couldn't like be a part of it, or you were mad, or you chose your person over them or something. But yeah, I think that's what I'm getting. I'm getting good vibes off of this particular friend, but this isn't the person that cheated that you thought was like, if one of your friends like was the third party, no, that's not who I'm speaking about in this situation. So I'm going to leave that there. If that resonates, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.